Hey, this is Victor Antonio here. Just continuing the conversation about wanting to be a motivational speaker. One of the big questions I also get is, how much should I charge? And that's always a tough question because it really depends on a lot of things. Background, your background being one of them, how good you are being another variable, and the company, whoever's trying to hire you, will also determine whether they can afford you or not. So one of the things you have to figure out, well, here, let's start at the beginning. Let's say you're starting out as a speaker, right? You're starting out for the first time, you want to be a speaker. And as you're starting out for a speaker, we always heard, the phrase, speak for free, then for fee, right? In other words, you start out speaking for free, and then over time you become very good. You've polished your message, you become very good at what you do. You deliver the message, and you can tell when you're hitting, when you're very good from the front of the room because the audience will show you love. And you'll know the difference between the, yeah, that was great, love to hear you, you were great, versus like, man, that was awesome, that was fantastic. And so when you start getting that latter reaction, that's when you're kind of ready to start charging some money. And so one of the things you should start doing is obviously speak for free. The more practice, the better. You know this already. And so as you're developing your speech, one of the things I like to recommend is that you build like a 45-minute speech, right? Let's call it a 45-minute speech. You'll be able to pare it down to 30 minutes or 50 minutes, but let's just start with a 45-minute speech, which is typical keynote speech. Work on your 45-minute speech and get that 45-minute speech down so well that you can basically do it if I woke you out of a dead sleep, right? If you woke up and said, okay, do the speech now, you can do it without any notes. When you have that speech down, I think that's also another indication where you can kind of off the cuff do a structured speech. I'm not talking about improvising and coming up with stuff. I'm saying if I asked you to do a 45-minute presentation on your topic and you can deliver it like bam, 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 you know what all the key points are, then I think you're ready to be that type of speaker where you can start charging money. So again, if it's polished, delivery is great, it's a structured speech, and it's very targeted in terms of going after a certain market, then that's the beginning of being, getting ready to get paid again, right? And so what should you charge? It depends. For example, if you speak to like universities, like, the organizations I started speaking at, you might want to look these up or write these down. One is called APCA, APCA.com. They hire college speakers, right? They have these marketplaces where you can go and basically talk to college people who actually bring in speakers, right? Another one is called NACA, NACA.org. That's another organization. These are the two big organizations that help colleges find speakers and other, like bands, comedians, anything for student activities. These people are the people who book it, right? And so APCA and NACA bring these people together. And the fee there, ranges. I'll just say that at the low end, you might see something at $1,500. On the high end, most I've ever seen consistently, and this is a very small percentage of people who can get this fee, is somewhere in the $4,500, $5,000 range. I think on average, $2,500 plus your expenses is probably what you can expect if you go after the college market. If you speak to nonprofits, if that's your target market, they don't have a lot of money. So it's going to have to come from the old heart here because a lot of times they don't have money. Maybe they have something called an honorarium, which is maybe they can give you a couple of $100 on average. It's about $500 for an honorarium, right? It's just some money for your time. And so you can start seeing how, speaking fees can vary, right? So on the low end, we can do $500, $200 to $500 for honorariums. Then you start moving into the college market. You start seeing the $1,500 to $2,500, $3,500. Again, tops off again $4,500, maybe $5,000. But again, that's rare. $2,500 I think is the medium price that you'll get plus expenses. And then if you move towards corporate America, businesses, let's call them small and medium-sized businesses, then you're going to start seeing the $3,500 to $5,000 more consistently. Okay, that's when you start seeing those type of numbers. But again, you have to have something of value and be very good at what you do in order to ask for that amount of money. Last but not least is that if you really want to go after the big bucks, that's the large corporations, called the Fortune 500, Fortune 1000. These are companies that'll pay you, above $5,000. So some people are getting 10,000, 15, 20, 25. What does the market bear? Again, it depends on the speaker. It depends on the market, how the market condition is. It depends on the event, how big the event is going to be. Several variables determine. So When a speaker says, I charge $20,000 a speech, does he always get it? No. And if he tells you he does, they're lying. What it is that a lot of times you have to negotiate the price because they're not going to pay the price. We could argue that maybe 10, 15 years ago, or I just say 10 years ago rather, when the market was very healthy, the dot-com, before the dot-com bust, before we really went into the recession in 2007, 2008, before that, you saw a lot of speakers who were getting the big fees, the 25,000 and more. And it was like, wow. So that was a different time. But today, I mean, we're talking, a tighter market and, budgets are tighter. So people are not giving up that money that easily. Again, if you saw my previous video, there's going to be the 5%, maybe the 10% of people out there who speak who can get those fees. God bless them, congratulate them, fantastic. But I'm just talking about the person who's just starting out and maybe has, again, a 3 to 5 year ramp-up period. What can you expect? I would expect something in the $500 to maybe $2,500 range, kind of work in that area for the first couple of years, okay? And obviously, I know you want to get out of that and make more money consistently. But to some people, if they can make $2,500 a speech and do 2 of those a month, they're like, that's all I need to quit my job. So whatever your number is your number. Don't be obsessed with, comparing your fee to somebody else's fee. It doesn't matter. I think you charge the fee that you feel is right and is worth your time. Everybody values their own time differently. That's why everybody has a different fee. And so, again, figure out what your fee is, but make sure you don't overshoot it. By that I mean if you're just starting out, please don't try to charge $2,500 out of the gate, okay? Unless you're very good out of the gate. And before you tell yourself, I am good, Victor, I'm really good, I am, trust me, that's fine. You can tell yourself that, but I'd rather you have other people tell you whether you deserve that money or not. Maybe have another speaker come see you who you respect, or maybe just based on, again, audience reaction, you'll know if you're really worth that money. So, again, starting out in the business is a 3 to 5 year ramp-up period if you want to be a motivational speaker. When should you start charging? Whenever you feel comfortable charging. Any given opportunity you can charge, obviously try to charge. I always, when I first started out, I remember I was doing a lot of high schools, and they didn't have a lot of money. But I would always ask for something, whether it's $500 or $1,000. And if they said no, well, Victor, maybe we can give you $200. Hey, something is better than nothing. So we all start at a certain level and move our way up. Today, my average fee, I don't mind sharing this. I don't know why other speakers are like, I don't want to share my fee with anybody, what I charge. I'll tell you what I charge because you can download it from my website. I charge for a keynote, I charge $10,000. And so the question you're going to ask me, Victor, do you always get it? No, I don't always get it. I'd love to get it all the time. Do I get it the majority of the time? Yeah. But there's times where I don't get it. And that's okay because sometimes, again, it's worth lowering the fee to get access to a big room with, decision makers from different companies. So again, I've done events for free because I knew the crowd was there and the people in the crowd were decision makers that could then hire me at my fee. So again, there's never a clear line on how to charge and how to make money in this business or what the fee is going to be. Have I gotten more than $10,000? Yeah, I've combined workshops and other things and packaged it up and boom, made more money that way. But again, I always come back to the key point. You can't make money if you don't offer value. So you have to make sure that the value you offer is so big that it basically dwarfs the fee that you're charging, because that's really what you're trying to do. If you can actually provide so much value in what you say and what you show and what you deliver and how you deliver it, then they're going to look at the fee like, nah, whatever. If we got 1,000, think about it. If I speak to crowds, the biggest crowd I've ever spoken to was almost 13,000 at the Phillips Arena, 13,000. And so if you take my fee divided by 13,000, by the way, I didn't get the straight up fee for that one. But on average, per person, it probably came out to $1, if that. No, not even that now that I think about it. Kind of like 40 cents per head, something like that. So my point is that it doesn't matter how much you charge. Just whatever you feel comfortable charging, that's what you charge. And again, start out small, work your way up. As you feel better, as you start getting better feedback, from customers and other people, then, that's the time to really start charging more money. And just, move it up in increments. That's what I did. I went from like 500, I went from 200, free 200, then I went to 500, and then I think I moved it up to 1,500. and then I moved it up to 2,500, then I moved it up to 3,500, then I made the big leap to 5,700 when I started targeting corporate America. But this was after I don't know, at least 5 to 6 years before I got there. Again, some of you may say, well, Victor, I can do it faster. Well, great. God bless you. Go ahead and do it. I don't care. Everybody has their own path. And one of the things I don't do is compare myself to what other people are doing. I do it my way and the way it makes me feel good. And if I feel good charging a certain fee and I think it's quid pro quo, this for that, a fair exchange of value, I don't have a problem charging whatever I charge. So again, if you want to charge more, it's more power to you. Go ahead and do so, okay? But again, at the end of the day, you have to feel comfortable with that number and that you're delivering, and it's realistic that you can make that money. And if you try to shoot too high and they go to your website and they look at your video and they look at your content and there's not much there, it's going to really destroy your credibility. So again, grow slowly, but build it gradually. Anyway, I hope this helps, and maybe I'll do another video and maybe we'll talk about schedules. How's that? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.